Hola clase y bienvenidos otra vez. Hoy vamos a continuar con unidad 5 y el tema de hoy es las palabras afirmativas y negativas. Okay, so we're going to be talking today about the affirmative and negative words in Spanish. You have on your note guide in section 1 a chart to fill out all of the negative and affirmative words. I have already provided the English for you, so please fill in the Spanish here. To say something in Spanish, you say algo. To say someone, you say alguien. To say some, you say alguno. But because it can be an adjective, you can change it to alguna, algunos, or algunas. And then when it precedes a masculine singular noun, it becomes algún. We'll take some further notes on this verb or this word in a later section, section 2 of your note guide. O means either or, siempre means always, and también means also. Okay, now please go over to the negative words. Okay, nada means nothing. Nadie, no one or nobody. Ningún, ninguno, none or not any. And again, because you can use it as an adjective, it can be ninguno, ninguna, ningunos, or ningunas. And just like alguno, it drops its O when it comes immediately before a masculine singular noun. Ni or ni means neither nor, nunca means never, and tampoco means either or neither. Okay, as I mentioned in class today, I am going to make some flashcards for these words to help you learn them, because as you can see, many of them look very similar in Spanish. All right, let's go down to section 2 on your note guide. Okay, just as I mentioned briefly when you were filling out the chart, alguno and ninguno are going to have a different form when they come right before or precede a masculine singular noun. Alguno is going to become algún, and ninguno is going to become ningún. Notice that they both pick up accents. Let's look at some examples. ¿Quieres algún filete? Do you want some steak? No, no quiero ningún plato con carne. No, I don't want any dish with meat. Okay? Filete and plato are both masculine singular nouns. Thus, alguno and ninguno drop their O. You know other words like this? Think about how you say one book. You say un libro instead of uno libro. Or when you say the first floor, you don't say primero piso, you say primer piso. Okay, so this is just another word that drops its O before a masculine singular noun. Please go to section 3 of your note guide. We're now going to talk about double negatives. In English, we do not use double negatives. Okay, you don't say, I don't want nothing. You say, I don't want anything. Okay, but in Spanish, they do, and that's actually correct, proper Spanish to say, I don't want nothing. Okay, so a double negative is required in Spanish when no comes before the verb. Okay, indefinite words that follow no must be negative. So, what I mean by that is, if you're using a negative word in the sentence, whether it is nada or nadie, etc., if that negative word comes after the verb, you must have a no in front of the verb, okay, thus creating what we call a double negative. Look at this example. In English, it says, I don't see anything. Okay, that is not a double negative in English. I don't see, okay, that's your negative. Then over here you have an affirmative word. But in Spanish, remember, if the negative word comes after the verb, they will put a no in front, thus creating the double negative. So no veo nada, I don't see anything. You may be tempted, because you see this word, anything, you may be tempted to want to use algo, because algo means something or anything. However, if there is a no in front of the verb, you have to use a negative word. Okay, just like the rule here tells you, indefinite words that follow no must be negative. Okay, the last thing we need to talk about when referencing affirmative and negative words is the personal a. You'll remember that the personal a is used when your direct object is a person. Okay, so when alguien or nadie, when they are the direct objects, you will see a personal a in front of them. Let's look at some examples. ¿Conoces a alguien de España? Do you know anyone from Spain? Here, anyone is the direct object. Thus, it's going to require the personal a. And no, I don't know anyone. No conozco a nadie. Again, here, nadie is the direct object, so you have the personal a. For those of you that don't remember, a direct object receives the action of the verb. Okay, to find the direct object in the sentence, you can always say who or what. So for example, I ate a sandwich for lunch. What did I eat? Sandwich. Sandwich is your direct object. Okay, so when that direct object is a person, the personal a must come right before that. So for example, if I say, I see Carlos in the hallway, Carlos is my direct object. So in Spanish, I must say, veo a Carlos en el pasillo. Okay, now that we have our rules and we have our words, let's take a minute to look at the practice. You'll notice that there are 12 affirmative and negative words. Thus, there are 12 examples here. I tried to keep the sentences very basic and use predominantly the word cook. Okay, sometimes in the present tense, sometimes in the past, etc. Please pause me, use your notes, and translate these 12 practice sentences. Okay, here are our answers. I always cook. Siempre cocino. You never cook. Nunca cocinas. Here, I didn't have to make a double negative because my negative word came before the verb. However, if you would have put nunca after, then you would need the no, creating the double negative. No cocinas nunca. Okay, number 3, he cooked something. Cocinó algo. 4, she didn't cook anything. No cocinó nada. Notice the double negative. You're literally saying she didn't cook nothing. Bad English, perfect Spanish. 5, también cociné. 6, they didn't cook either. No cocinaron tampoco. 7, I cooked some chicken. Careful, chicken is masculine singular, so you must drop the O from alguno. Cociné algún pollo. 8, we didn't cook any chicken. Again, chicken is masculine singular, so you have no cocinamos ningún pollo. 9, someone cooked. Alguien cocinó. Here, someone was the subject of the sentence, not the direct object. Therefore, a personal a was not needed. 10, no one cooked. Nadie cocinó. 11, I didn't cook the chicken or steak. No cociné ni pollo ni filete. And did you cook chicken or steak? Cocinaste el pollo o el filete. Okay, so those are your notes for today. The most difficult part of using affirmative and negative words is purely memorizing them, knowing that siempre means always, nunca means never, también, also, tampoco, neither. Okay, so like I said, I will put them in your flashcards for this week's vocab. Y es todo. Gracias por escuchar.